Welcome in to No Punt Intended, presented by Club Fantasy. Week 3 in the books, quarter of the season. Now, well, actually, we can't say quarter of the season anymore because there's technically 17 games, almost a quarter of the season of the way through. A lot of interesting things happened last week. A couple of NFL records happened last week. Only, I'm going to say one of them pertained to a lot of people because I'm going to go out on a limb and say no one took the Jaguars defense in their lineup against the Arizona Cardinals. Just a hunch, just a guess. But we got some really good stuff to talk about this week. As always, drop your comments, drop anything in there, and we will get to it. Here we go. Welcome into No Punt Intended, presented by Club Fantasy. I am your host, Joe Zollo. Joining me, as always, Joshua Hudson and Ryan Weisse. Guys, I'm getting over a top-of-the-mouth burn from my lean cuisine pizza at lunch.
Hell yeah.
It's, you know that feeling? Like, it feels like,
I
yeah, it's an absolutely terrible feeling. They make you heat those things to the temperature of the underworld. And they say, let it stand for 1 minute, you'll be fine. No.
Who has 1 minute?
Yeah, who has 1 minute? Nobody has a minute. Come on, get out of here. All right. Gentlemen, how was week 3 for you? I had a pretty good week, I think.
I did.
Fantasy leagues-wise, not really. I think I only won like 4 of 13. It was rough.
Oh, well, in real life, it was rough for you, too, because I think the Eagles forgot that they had a football game on Monday night.
I think they forgot that they have a running game and a really good running back at that.
Yeah,
so.
I didn't watch the game. I just saw the score. Like, I had it on ESPN on my second screen. Miles Sanders had 2 carries for 27 yards at one point, and it was like the middle of the third quarter, and I'm like...
No, that's what he ended with, Joe.
Yeah.
That's what he ended with.
So
2 carries for 27 yards.
He averaged 13 and a half yards on a carry, and Nick's
and they said,
like,
no, we're not going to give you the ball at all the rest of the game. Like, that makes, so much sense.
Dang.
Let me tell you.
He needs Adam Gase level blackmail to get the football in that offense for some reason. Like, that's crazy. Dang, Justin, we just started, and you're already in here. I love it. Dolphins are Packers defense this week. Dolphins are at home against the Indianapolis Colts. The Packers are at home against the Pittsburgh Steelers.
I know exactly why he's asking. Every waiver wire that you go to right now, the Packers are number 1 and the Dolphins are number 2. I was shocked. It's literally that way on every wire I went to today.
I mean, is it really that shocking considering how well the Packers defense has played of late?
Oh, I just meant that they're both available and they're the top 2, and no matter what format you're in or anything, it was just crazy to me. I have Miami ahead of Green Bay by 2 fantasy points. So
I think I would lean Miami as well, just because, look, Carson Wentz ain't getting it done in Indy right now.
Guys, you know who the quarterback is for Pittsburgh, correct? You understand that, right? Carson Wentz has some form of magic in him. It's hidden somewhere in there.
We haven't seen it in 4 years, but go ahead.
We haven't seen it. No, correct. But, it's there. He flashed it against the Rams when he did his little dip move. Like, he flashed it. Miami can't stop a nosebleed. Peyton Barber had 120 yards on them. Of course, I choose the wrong Raiders running back in my upside.
I tried to tell you, Peyton Barber was the lead guy.
You tried to tell me, and I neglected to think that Peyton Barber had become Jesus in the 2 years he hasn't played in Tampa Bay. So that's, fuck me for that. And then, again, Najee Harris, 14 catches for Najee Harris last week. Okay, they missed Deontay Johnson a lot in that offense, very clearly, but he still only had, 14 carries for 20-something yards on the ground? That offensive line can't
RB1
block.
on the week and finished with 2.9 yards per carry.
I do want to throw out, though, I'm looking over the fantasy points allowed to defenses. The Steelers and the Colts are averaging the same amount of points scored, the same amount of sacks allowed, and just about the same amount of turnovers every game. So as much as you want to shit on Big Ben, Wentz is equally as bad.
Hey. I'm not saying Carson Wentz is good. I'm just saying I think Carson Wentz has a better chance of having a good game than Ben. Ben Roethlisberger tripped over his own feet trying to throw a 2-yard pass.
He's so bad.
He is atrocious.
It also might come down to how healthy the Steelers offense is for me.
Sure.
Like if they say Deontay plays, then yeah, I would much rather roll
I would
with,
still go Packers. I would go Packers regardless. Oh my! In Lambeau, the Steelers would be lucky to find the other side of the 50-yard line.
I made the choice. I went Miami in multiple leagues. So as we talked about,
fair.
I definitely practice what I preach here.
But
so I'm going Miami.
Think about this though. Their defense normally gives them decent field position because of TJ Watt, right? What if TJ Watt doesn't play again this week?
That's big.
Right? Because that clearly showed last week. Like, we know how bad the Cincinnati offensive line is. I really don't think Joe Burrow was heavily
Cam
pressured
Hayward
in
sucked last week, by the way.
Yeah.
Timeout. Excuse me. He had 5 tackles. Okay.
He had 6 points in the 4-eyed league. 6 points.
Hey, he had 5 tackles. My other guy, Melvin Ingram, had 1. So I don't know what to tell you, but clearly that entire defense runs through TJ Watt. So if he doesn't play, I think that plays into it. But
and that is one thing we do know about the Packers. They know how to play with the lead.
Yeah. And also for the record, Justin.
Just concerned about their pass rush.
Yeah. Justin, regardless, you're probably going to have double-digit fantasy points from your defense this week.
Yeah.
So there you go. He's got a few more coming in, so let's just fly through these. J-Rob or Javonte in PPR. I am going Robinson. Ryan?
I would go James Robinson after shitting on him for 3 weeks. I'm starting to come around a little bit. So
Urban Meyer finally gave him the ball. Josh?
Yep.
Yeah, it seems like Urban Meyer maybe is kind of forced to at this point. I'm going to lean Robinson too. We're just kind of patiently waiting with Javonte at this point. Like he's doing okay, but it's not great because Melvin Gordon is still very heavily involved.
Yeah.
And at this point, they can't rely on anybody else in
if he does not get stuffed on the one last week, I think we see almost a complete change of the guard moving into this week. But he did get stuffed on the one. I think it's still going to take some time. So
and he fumbled too in the red zone, I believe, as well.
Yeah, I'd go with Robinson as well.
I mean, Justin, I have Javonte Williams and Melvin Gordon in the same league, and they're my 2 best running backs because it was 4-eyed, and I don't know how to draft Superflex. So it pained me. I actually took Travis Etienne as my RB1, so that kind of fucked me. And then
my RB1 was J.K. Dobbins in that one. So
yeah, so that's tough. And I took Melvin Gordon, Javonte Williams because I know they were gonna either split or one was gonna take over. Literally, I was looking at their stats side by side because they're stacked on top of each other in Sleeper.
50-50.
It is literally identical.
Yep.
It is identical. So it's literally just waiting for Javonte Williams to break away. And that I think we said this from the beginning, probably going to happen sometime in the middle of the season.
Yeah. Robinson finally started to look like the workhorse that we saw last year.
I say, yep.
Because he's a baller.
He looked like it. Yeah, absolutely.
He's a baller.
He looked like it last week.
They did not need to waste a first-round pick on Travis Etienne. James Robinson is a baller. Oh, okay, and he's got Pitts or Mike Gesicki. Gesicki having a good week last week. Pitts.
Brissett's favorite, apparently.
Hey, he comes from New England.
Yeah.
What do you think Tom Brady told him? Hey, you got a big white tight end? Throw to him. And what's Gesicki? He's 6'6", 265. Why do they not use him more?
I believe I saw a stat somewhere, and I don't want to throw this out incorrectly, but I believe he's running about 93% routes. Like the route, like the snaps that he's playing, like he's running routes like 93% of the time. Like that's absurd.
I don't understand why they don't run their offense through him because he is.
Yeah, they should.
He could play
at this point. Him and Waddle would be dynamic.
Yes, because
you all in on Waddle at this point.
Yeah, what do you have? 12 catches for 50-something yards.
Yeah.
That's what. That's the.
That's Jarvis Landry, baby.
I was going to say that's the Jarvis Landry. That's like a Wes Welker stat line.
Yeah,
that's crazy. But I would say Gesicki if Brissett's at quarterback, right?
I'll just throw out Indy surprisingly good against tight ends.
Kari Willis and Julian I forget the other safety back there, but 2 good safeties.
Yeah. So I would probably I know it's you don't want Pitts on your bench when he finally blows up. You paid way too much for that kid. I would keep starting him.
But see, that's the thing. He's running the routes. He's getting the opportunity. Atlanta hasn't showed us anything yet.
No.
And I understand that if Pitt scores a touchdown at some point in the first 3 weeks, we're having a different conversation, and we're trotting him out, no questions. But that's the thing. He hasn't yet. He hasn't really put up those numbers. I understand you drafted him high. We're at a point where if you just keep trotting out drafted high guys, you're going to lose and your season's going to fall flat very quickly.
Yeah.
So for me, like we saw Gesicki ball out with Brissett. Brissett is looking for him. They want to get him involved. I would lean Gesicki here. And again, Pitts hasn't really showed us that, hey, I'm a top flight tight end yet. It's all speculative at this point.
Yeah.
I mean, my biggest concern is I don't know how many times they threw the ball last week, but 25 of them went to two guys. I don't know that you're going to see that as a week in, week out game plan.
With a backup quarterback, it can absolutely happen.
I like Mike Gesicki. I would roll with him at this point.
I was going to say there's no wrong answer, but the wrong answer was not getting Travis Kelce, Darren Waller in your draft.
Oh my God, yeah. Most humble fantasy god. You see that, guys?
Shit, I forgot to change that.
That was from our Start Sit Different Day show on Saturday.
Yeah, I'm not that bad of a person.
Carter, what's up, man?
How we doing, buddy?
With A.J. Brown down, he's moving Jamar Chase to start with Tyreek Hill. Hey, Jamar Chase might have 3 touchdowns this week against that porous defense. Should he trust Odell in the flex against Minnesota or hope Robert Woods finally gets targets?
Well, Carter, I first want to know how you got into our pre-show lobby where we were literally having this discussion about what to do with Robert Woods before the show started.
Literally.
I'm trotting Woods out one more week. If you don't beat the Arizona defense, it's full panic on him at this point. I like OBJ, but he's already coming in as questionable. I would go Woods this week.
I would think that the questionable tag would really just be
it's going to be pinned to him at this point.
Point. Yeah. It's just, he's not in full football shape. I think the upside here is that you can put Chase in as a starting wide receiver and then sort of let the rest of the week play out. We may not know if Brown plays. If he does play, you're starting it. That's not a question.
Against the Jets? If he can't do anything.
I mean, that's a 1:00 game too. So, I mean, you're going to be fine.
We're talking about if Robert Woods can't do anything against the
Arizona.
Cardinals. If A.J. Brown can't do anything against the Jets, that's true panic right there.
Yeah, agreed. And again, we've talked about, the Jets they're playing well against wide receivers.
I was going to say.
But their safety, Marcus May, just got hurt, and he's out the next 3 to 4, 6 weeks or whatever it is.
And the only reason they're playing well against quarterbacks
is because nobody has to throw against
them. Because nobody's to throw against them.
Yeah.
That's the only reason.
Yeah, and Derrick Henry's going to run the football 35 times this week.
Yeah.
He might set the single game rushing record.
What's that, 330 or something like that?
Every time we say things like this, they have the worst game ever.
Yeah, so bench Derrick Henry, actually. Bench Derrick Henry against the 32nd ranked NFL defense.
It's funny, I was about to say it, and then I'm like, no, I'm not going to do that to Derrick Henry, so I'm just going to let it go.
Derrick Henry.
Well, I don't have Derrick Henry rostered anywhere, so I'll gladly say it. So.
Carter, just for my answer, I would probably roll with Robert Woods. Again, Minnesota's defense isn't great. They're not bad.
Yeah.
Their pass rush, Everson Griffin and Daniel Hunter look great.
And the Browns line, there are some issues there.
Iffy. Yeah. I mean, we obviously, it was overshadowed by Myles Garrett's 4.5 sacks and Justin Fields having 1 positive yard, including sack yards, that entire game.
Oh, I have some fun rookie quarterback stats.
But there was 2 4th down plays where Baker was sacked 15 yards behind the line of scrimmage. Yep. It's like there was
and they were on his ass immediately
within a second. There was no Khalil Mack ran free. Who just lets Khalil Mack run free? So definitely some issues on that O-line. I would roll Robert Woods. But good point from Josh. You can just kind of see how the week plays out.
Yeah, when Jamar Chase scores 3 touchdowns tomorrow night,
it's not going to matter.
Be laughing at this decision. So
not going to matter. Okay, into our 3 up. Let's fly through these here. Josh, you got Matt Stafford saying he's just balling right now. I mean, yeah.
No lies.
He loves that offense. You got Najee Harris. We already said he averaged 2.9 yards per carry and was the RB1. That's just ridiculous. Justin Tucker, this is a big step, guys. Josh putting any kicker as an upside.
I like this.
I have my reasons, though.
Yeah.
66 yard. Dude, that indoors, too, because the previous record was Matt Prater at Mile High Stadium in thin air. And Matt Prater smoked it through the uprights, too.
Yeah.
That was probably good from 72 if you really wanted it to be. the fact Tucker did it indoors makes it that much more impressive because there's no elements to help
bounce, though, but he still absolutely drilled.
But here's the thing: it actually hit the inside of the crossbar. So if they reviewed it, it still would have been good, even if it bounced out, because it hit the inside of the crossbar.
Interesting.
Yes. So it doesn't hit the back of the net unless it hits the inside of the crossbar.
That's what I was going to say. Is the fact that it hit the back of the net, it had to have a weird angle.
Yes. It was just absolutely crazy. And you give an honorable mention to Trayvon Diggs because he absolutely
he's looking good, man.
He's carrying that.
He's looking good.
He's carrying the heat from HBO.
And I know that I missed technically on Rager as an upside pick last week, but he did outscore Devonta Smith.
He did,
as I said he would. So
I did house prop bets on Thrive. And I hit my Jalen Reagor over receiving yards one. I hit another one. I'm forgetting which one it was. And the one I missed on was CeeDee Lamb over 83 yards. Are you kidding me? Against the Eagles? That's a joke.
Should have been a cakewalk. It's such a weird game.
Right? That hurt. Ryan, you had Mike Williams. Talk about an awakening.
Outscored most quarterbacks last week.
Dude, Mike Williams, crushing it. Jamar Chase. He is the only receiver since Randy Moss to have at least 3 touchdowns in his first 3 games.
Only note I want to add to that is we got to stop buying into this preseason positive or negative hype as hard as we do. So,
Jamar Chase has 36.4% of his receptions as touchdowns.
Yeah, and he's catching the ball with.
He's going to be at 50% by the end of Thursday.
Yeah.
Gross. Absolutely gross. He'll have 6 catches. 3 of them will be touchdowns.
Yep. Jamar Chase fell in drafts in those last 2 weeks because of those BS reports.
Yep. And you have Jalen Waddle as well. The
new Jarvis Landry.
The new I don't care about average depth of target. I'm still going to score 17 points.
My man scored 17 PPR points with 58 yards and no touchdowns.
God, terrible.
But
absolutely
the big part about that is, and I understand A-Dot plays into this, he caught 12 of 13 targets. If he's going to play that role this season, that's a New England Patriots-esque offense. We've talked about this for ages. I am all in on Jalen Waddle. Full buy for me at this point. So.
Yeah, if he's their guy like that, I mean, one of the ones he caught was 4 yards behind the line of scrimmage on a screen pass that turned into a safety. First off, terrible play call. Why are you calling a screen pass in the end zone? They want to get him the ball anywhere. So that's big.
Yep.
I have James Robinson. I basically put the question, can we trust him now? We've answered that question. AJ Green, let's fucking go. Over 100 yards receiving. That's right, baby. The Basement Boys have been pumping AJ Green before everybody else. Let's go, baby. I started AJ Green over a couple guys, and it paid off. Let's go. And I also put Jamar Chase, and I put in my comment, those drops are really hurting him right now. So it's tough. Josh, you have the Chicago Bears as your first down, noting that Matt Nagy is awful, the offensive line is atrocious, and the play calling is abysmal. Justin Fields stood no chance on Sunday. You also have Tyler Lockett. You lost a beer bet because of his crappy showing. Huh. Weird. Almost like Tyler Lockett scores.
Foreshadowing, by the way.
Oh, almost like Tyler Lockett scores 70 points or 2 points.
Yeah.
And it's tough. Who else did you have? Kyle Pitts. Apparently he needs to grow into his Hall of Fame jacket. Facts. Honorable mention, Jonnu Smith. The one Jonnu Smith play I did catch, he tripped over his own feet and just dropped the football into Malcolm Jenkins' hands. What the hell was that?
God,
what are you doing, Jonnu?
He looks so bad, man.
Can we be real? Where do you want Mac Jones to put that?
Exactly.
What do you want? What did hit you in the ass, Jonnu? Like, I'm confused. He hit you in perfect stride. He probably had 20 yards to run, too. Like, there was no one in front.
As fast as he is, yeah.
Oh,
God,
painful. And he had like 7 targets, too. Like, it's not like they're not trying to get him the ball. Oh, angry. Ryan, you just have rookie quarterbacks as a whole, and you said you have fun stats. I like fun stats.
884 yards, 3 touchdowns, 7 interceptions. Sounds like a shitty season, but it's actually what the 5 starting rookie quarterbacks did in week 3. They combined for 48 fantasy points, and that's if you include Trey Lance's 1-yard rushing touchdown. Josh Allen had 45 fantasy points. So I could have given you all 6 rookie quarterbacks versus Josh Allen, and you would have only outscored me by 3 fantasy points. It is not pretty.
That's tough. That's tough. I do want to say, though, you want to know a quarterback that did suck? Ryan Tannehill.
Oh, yeah.
Sorry, I just saw Carrington's thing. Guys, everyone on YouTube that commented, I see your comments. We're going to get to them right as we finish our downs. Please don't worry. We do see them. I just had to throw that in there because Ryan is on the Ryan Tannehill hate train right now.
I'm slowly
coming
to turn
off.
back around, but I hate him again this week. So.
The wheels are turning back. Ryan, you have Marquis Brown. I'll talk about Marquis Brown. And you have Juju Smith-Schuster as well. I have Amari Cooper, noting that I remember when he was the wide receiver 1 in Dallas that 1 week.
Again, just a weird week in general. They pounded the ball with Zeke. He ran well. They didn't really need to throw.
I also remember when Blake Jarwin was the starting tight end for the Dallas Cowboys. I also have Justin Fields, noting that it's almost like someone told you he has a slow release time and a bad offensive line, which would lead to him not being able to throw the football. It's weird. It's almost like someone said that in the Bears preview, and when they drafted him, it's almost like you should listen to the show more and not play Justin Fields ever this season until they get a better offensive line for him. And then I have Hollywood Brown as mine, and basically saying lights, camera, drops. That was kind of
mine wasn't as poetic, but that's what I put as well.
I mean, my buddy.
If he makes those catches, they run away with that game.
Well, and then if you make those catches,
3 touchdown drops.
If he makes those catches, imagine what the narrative around Hollywood Brown is right now.
Yeah, because he didn't have
57.
He didn't have a bad previous first 2 weeks. He had a solid first couple weeks,
and he ended last season strong too.
Well, and if you don't even have those drops, you're not even bitching about a 3 for 57 as his 3rd game. But the drops make it so much worse.
Because it would have been 6 for close to 200 yards and 3 touchdowns.
Tutties. Yeah.
Now, again, I want to say, if James Prochet plays more, that's all I'm saying. Did you not see his toe drag on the sideline? Come on. He can play, dude. I'm confused.
You're going to be, I'm pretty sure I don't know if they can release him to the practice squad or what, but they're bringing Boykin and Bateman back up this week. Yep. He's done.
Dang, it's going to suck when Hollywood Brown gets brought down to the practice.
Well, I was going to say, no, it's going to be great for you when Prochet gets picked up by a team that needs a damn wide receiver and you actually get to see him play,
he's their punt returner, if I'm not mistaken.
He's a fantastic punt returner.
Okay. Yeah. So let's talk about this, though. So obviously, because they said they're bringing him up this week, so you have Boykin and Bateman. Mm-hmm. You're not getting rid of Duvernay. He's playing firmly ahead of everybody. Hollywood.
Duvernay's your kick returner as well.
Yeah. Hollywood. Sammy Watkins, are you carrying 6 wide receivers for a team that doesn't throw the ball?
Might have to, honestly.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting.
Yeah, might have to. Has Tevin Wallace seen the light of day?
Tylan Wallace.
Also
Tylan
hurt.
Wallace,
I think he's on the temp IR right now, if I remember
Oh.
correctly, or maybe I'm wrong.
Not
but-
according to Sleeper. He does not have an injury tag next to him.
Okay.
So all I know is he's played 0% of the snaps.
That's
he's
all
I know.
Probably healthy scratch at this point. They're probably not even carrying him into active.
Oh, yeah. Absolute garbage. All right. Let's jump into these questions here. Carter, back to you, my friend. Arby's are Antonio Gibson, Miles Sanders, Melgo. That's a new one.
I've never heard that.
Melgo, Melvin Gordon, and DeCook. I know it's early to tell if DeCook will get a typical snap count, but thoughts on those guys? I would. If Dalvin Cook is healthy, you're not benching Dalvin Cook.
You're starting. Yeah.
You're starting Dalvin Cook.
I mean, at this point,
I'd still go
really
Cook
start
and Gibson.
I was. You can't really
Gibson.
start Miles Sanders right now unless Cook is out. So,
I do think Sanders has a good game this week.
Yeah, I do too.
I feel like he's going to have to, and they have a good matchup.
They have a great matchup.
It's Gibson against Atlanta.
Yeah, Gibson against Atlanta. James, should you trade Damien Harris and receive Chuba Hubbard? He is a desperate CMC owner in his league, and he is a horrible running back, a good receiver. So he's basically, should he acquire Chuba Hubbard and try and trade for Brandon Cooks, Mike Evans, or Jamar Chase? So basically, get rid of Damien Harris, acquire Chuba Hubbard, to then use as trade bait to try and get one of these guys.
Yes. If there's a trade in this that you walk away with Jamar Chase for Damien Harris,
Chuba Hubbard?
yes.
Or for Damien Harris, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know how this all works out for you, but if you can do it, I would want Chase out of that group. The real question is, if he can't get Chase, does he go after Cooks or Evans? Because
I
Man.
would.
Cooks.
Yeah.
Cooks.
I mean, I would be happy with any 3 of them for Chuba Hubbard because I feel like Hubbard's only going to be a 2-week starter.
Yep.
Yeah.
And
At best.
let's be perfectly clear. Royce Freeman is not a trash running back and could easily take the carries. And then you end up in a situation where Chuba's in on the passing downs and Royce is in on the rushing, and he's not worth nearly as much as you think he is. So, yes, make that trade.
Or flip that because Royce is actually a better player.
Yeah, Royce is a better pass catcher.
Yeah.
Yep. And then he also asked, start Pitts or Higbee? I believe they're both downsides this week from Josh.
So,
Josh,
real quick. So, I
Okay.
am down on Higbee, mostly because Arizona has been really good against the tight ends this year.
Ironically.
But here's the stat that I was blown away by. In the last 4 meetings between the Rams and the Cardinals, Tyler Higbee has 3 touchdowns.
Yeah.
And they're not all in one game.
I was going to say, are they all in one
No,
game?
no.
Yeah, like
it's
the-
like
like the
1-1-1-0. Like it's
Good.
yeah,
I have
it's
to.
like he's owning Higbee is owning the Cardinals right now. So that's really one of my riskier downside plays this week. But I still would lean Pitts. I feel like I know we just talked about this with Gesicki, but Gesicki's very involved in that offense. The same thing with Pitts. Higbee's blocking 50% of the time. So that's just a very hard. And the first 2 weeks, he was over 60% of the time he was blocking. Last week, he was at 40%. So it's one of those things where you don't know if he's actually going to be running routes. And right now, that whole offense is Stafford to Cup.
How's Arizona's run defense? Not great. So
It's average.
yeah. So and that's the thing is like they were
And
playing.
with Henderson supposedly coming back, they're going to lean on him.
But I'm saying like last week, you're not running into the Tampa Bay defense, despite how bad they've been. They are still the best run defense in the NFL, if not top 5. So it clearly showed that Sony Michel still can't run the football against any team in the NFL. So I think they probably relied on him more in the passing game, and they planned to have him more in the passing game due to the fact that Tampa secondary is just absolutely awful.
Yeah, I'm just wondering with Budda Baker, and then I don't know how much Isaiah Simmons is doing because Arizona's allowed 14 targets to the tight end, but they've just allowed not over 20 yards, not over 2 catches. Like they're just shutting them down on those targets to where it seems like the targets are going to be there for Higbee because they've definitely went away from any of their 2 tight end nonsense. I mean, Munt plays when he was in there.
He's literally only blocking. I think he has 1 target on
as
the year.
blocking to where it's all going to go his way. So he's in line for 4 to 6 targets. It's just.
But if you guys think that Robert Woods is bouncing back this week,
you can't expect both. Exactly.
Yeah, that's going to take Higbee off the table. So.
Well, I mean, if the score is going to be 42-43,
which it could very well be.
Yeah, and that's that too.
Yeah.
James also has Godwin or Lamb this week. Tampa Bay in New England. The Cowboys are home against Carolina.
Yes.
Home or in Carolina, one of the two. I'm forgetting.
I think I would lean Godwin. Personally.
Yeah, I would. Yeah, if Tom Brady doesn't break every single game passing record this game, then clearly Bruce Arians did not game plan correctly because it could be halftime and it'd be 42-0. By the end of the game,
this could be like the Lions Bucks game last season on like a Thursday night or something when Brady had like 6 touchdowns at halftime.
Yeah, this will be a massacre.
And then Gabbert came in and threw 2 more.
Yeah. This will be except Gabbert's not going to come in and throw 2 more. Brady will continue to play the game. Massacre. Absolute massacre. And I think Brady does get sacked probably 4 or 5 times. But it doesn't matter because they're going to throw the ball 70. So it doesn't matter.
In this massacre, is there hope for Mac Jones as a streaming option?
Nope.
No.
No?
No, the Patriots offensive line has been iffy at best. And
so do you think this is the coming out party for the Tampa Bay defense?
I mean, who you really coming out against? A 1-3 team?
Well, what I'm saying is they haven't done shit. And so is this where you're finally going to see them do something? So
I don't know. I mean, if they're running stunts up front, I don't think that offensive line can handle it right now. So if Shaq Barrett's going to come in on stunts and Pierre-Paul is going to come in on stunts and they're going to run Devin White up the middle on on every third down like Todd Bowles loves to do, fuck it. Like, it's probably it'd be a good, get right game for them, but I don't know if it's a coming out party, because then they're going to go and play a team next week that's going to be 1,000 times better than the Patriots. And he asked if we're worried about Godwin's target share with Antonio Brown back. I wasn't worried about it week 1 and week 2. Damn well not worried about it now.
It's not really
I
effective.
think AB will definitely have a good game. I mean, it in a way, it is still a revenge game for him, even though he only played 1 game with New England.
But again, Brady's going to throw 8 touchdowns, so it doesn't
so
matter.
it's not going to matter.
And doesn't Godwin have a touchdown in every game? He had a rushing touchdown last week. He had a touchdown in week 1.
I forgot about. I was going to say he did not have. Unless I forgot about the rushing.
I think he scored in week
so.
2. So I think he has a touchdown in every game. Like, I'm not sitting Godwin. And also, Evans is coming out in the red zone, like, way more than he should.
Yeah.
And when Evans is in, you very much know if he's spread out wide by himself, it's a jump ball. Yep. But Godwin's the wide receiver 1 in the red zone.
Yep.
Every time, because he's the best blocker on the team. Mike, Cook, or can he go back to Gesicki? If this is Jared Cook,
yeah, it is.
It is Mike Gesicki. It is a set it and forget it.
Yeah, Jared Cook is boring. Just a guy tight end that exists right now. If you have Gesicki, he is the better option.
Ironically, I was going to put Donald Parham as my upside tight end this week, because fuck the tight ends at this point. Like, I don't know. But we'll get to mine in a little bit. Go ahead, Josh.
He's done nothing. I think Steven Anderson has more targets than he does.
All I know is I saw Donald Parham catch 1 pass last week against the Chiefs, and I'm like, yeah,
so the upside.
That guy. What does it matter? Jody Foster caught a touchdown last week. Who?
They actually have him coded as a wide receiver. I was digging into that a little bit. So.
Great. Okay. Josh Gesicki, correct?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Okay. Yeah, I'm going through right now, and I'm actually looking at their just their snap percentages right now. Like, Cook's hovering around like 50-ish. Last week he jumped up to 69, but Parham's still on the field 47% of the time. So
he blocks. And Parham's like 6'8". So
the long and short of it is Cook's going to have a game here, there. Gesicki's more likely to do something. Cook is a last resort at this point.
Yeah, I feel like a lot of the questions with Gesicki are really centered around the goose egg that he put up a couple weeks ago.
Exactly. Yeah. We're all worried. And I mean, I was the leader of that train. I told people, oh, the sky's falling. It's time to get rid of him. But that's just because I hate tight ends. So
Ryan loves to panic.
I do. That is actually an accurate thing. I panic like crazy. So
Ryan absolutely loves to panic. Okay. Carrington picked up the Panthers defense last week, but kept the Ravens as well. Who'd you rather the rest of the season? Ryan will say the Panthers. I can save you Ryan's breath.
Oh, I don't. In fantasy, I don't.
Oh, yeah, no.
Rest of the season.
Yeah, no. I was going to say, we never play defenses the rest of the season, but if we're picking, it's the Panthers.
Yep. And I like them this week against Dallas, too, over the Ravens.
Yeah. Yeah, because the Ravens are going a mile high.
Yep.
Not an easy place
Denver's
to play.
look good.
Yeah.
I was going to say the other way around, only because that loss of J.C. Horn, I think, really started to show in this. Yeah. Well, it started to show in the second half, and Dallas's offense is a hell of a lot
agree.
better.
I'm not saying he's going to be great, but they already replaced him with C.J. Henderson, and Henderson will.
Okay, but Henderson hasn't been great in Jacksonville, and now he's got to come through and learn a new system. I think his snap counts are going to be a lot more limited than people probably think.
See, I wonder how much of a system you got to learn as a quote unquote number 1 corner, though. It's just going to be cover your damn guy. So
that's only if you're playing man.
That's fair.
Also, just real quick, they spent a first-round pick on C.J. Henderson last year, correct?
Yeah.
Okay.
And they just gave him up for Dan.
They gave him up for a
Dan Arnold,
perennial like journeyman tight end.
Yeah.
In a 3rd-round pick.
Yep.
Yeah, they swapped 3rd and 5th. Yeah.
I say it wasn't even a 3rd straight up.
Yeah.
Wow.
You want to talk about bailing way too early?
Yeah.
Urban Meyer's killing this NFL head coach thing.
I was gonna say
he's so bad.
Matt Rule had to just been. I mean, I know Henderson has not been a world beater, but Matt Rule just had to have been salivating when that trade went through.
But if you can get a potential number 1 corner,
yep,
to then bookend with another number 1 corner for a journeyman tight, not even just a journeyman tight end, for a tight end that's not named Kelsey or Waller or Kittle or Andrews or Hawkinson at this or Pitts.
And we talk about this all the time. Part of Henderson's issue is, and Jacksonville hasn't had a pass rush the entire time he's been there. That's changing in Carolina. So,
yep.
I don't understand. Like,
I'm baffled by that trade.
I don't get it. I don't get it.
I'm going to go at another end for it. I mean, obviously, I take the trade all day, every day.
Oh, yeah.
Carolina was in love with Dan Arnold, and so I was shocked to see it go from that end.
Yeah. Well, they, by all the accounts, they're saying that Tremble's ready. Like, they literally dubbed him like this year's Jeremy Chin.
Yeah, I saw that too.
And we saw the, the involvement that they had Tremble
used him for a rushing touchdown.
Yeah, they used him for a rushing touchdown. So I'm like, okay, I mean, if you guys are ready to go that far in on him, like, all right.
Tremble's a fun one for maybe, and I understand my David Njoku pick bombed like crazy, but Tremble's a fun one for a little bullshit DFS lineup this week. So
he's actually in my upside column this week.
There you go.
David Njoku with a fat
no target.
Goosey.
What are the Browns doing?
Fat Goosey on the scoreboard.
Clearly not listening to the show.
No.
I missed on Hooper by like a half a point.
Yeah, he's looking good. No,
our upsides were Garbo last week. They were terrible. Remember when I said listen to me for upsides and everyone else for downsides?
Don't listen to any of us.
You got cocky.
It's ironic because I put up a goose egg in the upside column and then I actually won in the downside column. Yep. So it did the exact opposite of what I said would happen. Mr. Grapefruit, thoughts on starting Mahomes or Hurts this week? I assume he's contemplating between the two. He says KC's bad rushing defense has me thinking Hurts, and it's in Philly as well. Hey, you're not wrong, right? You're not wrong. You're definitely not wrong, Mr. Grapefruit. You spent a second-round pick on Patrick Mahomes. Maybe a first. You're not sitting Patrick Mahomes. No. For Jalen Hurts.
And it's not even like he's been bad. I think he's QB3 on the season. Like,
here's the thing.
This is one of those, like, you don't need to get cute.
Yeah, and Mahomes is not the perennial, or I guess perennial is not the right word. He's not the every week QB1. He's the every week top 5 guy. He's Mr. Consistent in fantasy. Take that. Don't chase those weird weeks that might happen with Jalen Hurts.
Yeah, and the only reason Hurts was even – I still can't even believe he was a top 12 quarterback last week. Like, just watching that game, especially as a fan, he did it on passing yards.
Yep.
I think he only had 50 yards rushing.
Yeah.
Like, it wasn't anything spectacular.
Yeah. I understand the hesitancy. I don't think Mahomes has looked fantastic this year. Like, that interception.
No, they're turning the ball over a lot.
That interception he threw, and I think everyone knows the one I'm talking about, where he was targeting Travis Kelce and overthrew him by like 2 or 3 yards. Yep. He knows in that situation to not do that. He's getting to the point where he's getting too cocky, and he thinks he can trust his arm too much. Now, again, did Kelce get bumped off the line a little bit and maybe threw off the timing? Yes, but that happens on every play. And also, to bring up, what did the Chargers do last week? They let Travis Kelce run wild and hampered down on Tyreek Hill and rushed 4. It's almost like the Bucs gave you the blueprint to beat the Chiefs. Mm-hmm. It's not hard. It's not. It's not like the Chargers looked like world beaters last week.
Nope.
All they did was stop the big play. That's it. They let CEH fumble because he's terrible. They let Travis Kelce run wild because he's not going to beat him over the top. Control Tyreek Hill, you win the game. That's it. Mahomes makes mistakes. He's made a mistake every week.
Like, I know everybody wants to think he's this.
I don't even.
God, he's human.
Makes mistakes almost makes it sound like a mistake. He dicks around too much.
Yes, he does. He's gotten too cocky.
That no look pass that bounced off of dude's hands. You have to think a no look pass messes with the wide receiver as well.
So I can speak to this because I had a quarterback when I played flag football. He threw no look passes, and it pissed me the fuck off as a wide receiver.
Yeah,
because the first time he did it, I had no clue it was coming.
Yep.
I've caught in every single one that he throws to me, but it's a laser beam too, and you got to think. I had rapport with him. I played with him for 10 years. I knew when it was coming now, later in my career. Jody Foster. How many receptions does he have in his career? And how many passes has Mahomes thrown him? Now, if that was a guy like Kelsey or Tyreek Hill who just blatantly dropped it, I think you'd be a little more angry at the receiver. That is 100% on Mahomes because that's not a guy who knows a no-look pass is coming. And also, it wasn't the greatest pass in the world. Like, it didn't hit him right in the chest. He did have to reach for it. It should have been caught. That is no excuse. But you're right, Ryan. He could have just... There was no one around him. He could have looked directly at the receiver. There wasn't a charger within 10 yards.
Yeah, there's no degree of difficulty points. You're not Simone Biles, buddy. Let's keep it moving.
And again, it just... I had a lot of people laugh at me when I said this bet in the beginning of the season. Chiefs under 12.5 wins. It was even money. Under 12.5 wins. They were like, it was like minus 150 for over 12.5 wins. The Chiefs defense sucks. They don't have a run game, and they showed you how they can be beat.
Just want to clarify really quick. Jalen Hurts had 35 rushing yards last week.
Yeah, he did nothing on the ground.
Yeah, it was all through the air. 326 yards in the air.
Was it on like 10 carries too?
Well,
like he only averaged like 3 yards a carry.
They refused to put the ball on the ground. Or run it rather.
It's true.
It's rough.
All right, from Charlie, just traded away Brandon Ayuk for
Big win.
Robert Woods straight up. Did he win? I mean, Ayuk has done utter garbage, and you're getting upside with Woods, I think. So,
and I'll tell you
I
this,
don't hate the trade, honestly.
yeah.
I think you win big, and here's the next thing you need to do. I'm assuming Woods has the big week this week. You trade Woods' ass immediately.
Away, yes.
Woods is done in that offense. There's no nice way of putting it. Cooper Kupp gets everything, and if they're going deep, they're taking moonshots to Van Jefferson or Deshaun Jackson. Woods is going to have a decent week here or there. Hopefully this week, trade his ass as quickly as possible.
Deshaun Jackson.
I wanted him so bad.
That was the revenge game that I completely forgot about.
Yep.
Like, I don't think many people knew that Deshaun Jackson's on the team. He'll be 35 December 1st.
Yeah, he's still out there
Does he
playing.
still run a 4.3 40? Like,
how many times did they throw that pass before it finally happened?
literally, Deshaun Jackson should have had 3 touchdowns.
Yeah.
Like, Stafford missed him twice. And he looked like a rocket off the line. It was he looked like Deshaun Jackson, the rookie for the Eagles.
And I've always said that that's what he does best. In the last couple of years in Philly, they've tried to make him like a true X and like run like a full route tree, and that's not Deshaun Jackson's game.
I was gonna say he runs until
get
he gets
behind
hurt.
a defense. That is what he does better than anyone.
Exactly, until he gets hurt. It is what it is, but ride that train.
Well, he's old and fragile now.
Yeah.
So he
was
will get
young
hurt.
and fragile too.
He will get hurt more often. I was just thoroughly shocked that they had, young guys, Ross Cockrell, Antoine Winfield, Carlton Davis, all these young guys getting dusted by mid-30s Deshaun Jackson.
Yep.
Like, what if that was 24-year-old Deshaun Jackson? Like,
everybody wants to talk about like how fast Tyreek Hill is.
Deshaun
I
Jackson.
don't know that there.
Exactly.
Oh my God.
Deshaun Jackson is still easily the fastest guy that I've ever seen run in a straight line.
And his stride is like 2.5 yards per step. Like, it's ridiculous.
He's tall and lanky. Yeah.
Like there's Deshaun Jackson.
And I don't even want to say tall. I think he's only like 5'11".
I think he's 6'1".
I thought he was 6'1".
I believe he's 6'1".
I thought he was only 5'11".
I could have sworn. I literally just closed out the tab to check his age. He's 5'10".
Wow.
See, even shorter. Yeah.
Yeah, he's 5'10". But like there's guys like Deshaun Jackson looks fast. Cordero Patterson is deceptively fast. He just looks like he's gliding on air. Tyreek Hill looks like
he's
Sonic
also
the
like
Hedgehog.
6'3".
Oh, Patterson's huge.
Yeah.
That's why he
he's
looks like he's gliding
Yeah.
on air. He doesn't look like he's running fast, but he runs like a 4.3. But Tyreek Hill looks like Sonic the Hedgehog because he's so tiny.
Yep.
So it's just like
His
this.
legs
That's what his
start
legs
spinning.
look like.
Exactly.
Yeah, doesn't stop spinning. But yeah, way off track. But Charlie, you won. Congratulations.
Yeah. And then win again next week when you trade Woods away for a running back.
Carter, I'll just wrap this up real quick. Josh Allen's will be fine.
Yeah.
He's playing Houston this week.
Yeah, 330 and 3 touchdowns in my predictions.
Yeah, you can bookend a good amount of points this week.
Yep.
Sean, Trade Alvin Kamara and Robert Woods for Joe Mixon and Cooper Kupp.
I would definitely take the Mixon and Cup side of that.
Yep.
Dang, yeah, kind of.
Yeah, I mean, Kupp's the top 5 wide receiver in the NFL right now.
And you're not like, I understand the fall off.
You're not trading last year's Alvin Kamara.
Yeah. And, Mixon, because he's going to bounce back this week. He'll be fine.
Yeah.
You're going to deal with
don't forget what Mixon did the last time he played Jacksonville. If you can make that trade, if you would need to, hopefully you have make that trade right now in case you have a 1-day period. Like you need to get Mixon on your lineup right now.
Yeah, send that, text the owner, say, hey.
Look, that trade, you want Kupp, but that trade becomes infinitely less valuable if you cannot start Joe Mixon this week.
Yep. All right, from Carrington, he has Tyreek Hill, Calvin Ridley, Terry McLaurin, Mike Williams, Jerry Jeudy, Brandon Ayuk. Great 4 receivers to start up top. Running backs, Chris Carson, Darrell Henderson, Nyheim Hines, Tyson Williams, and Javonte. His RB2 is Rough. He didn't mean to say rough twice, but it's funny.
It's so much better. It's so much better.
So much better.
It's not just rough. It's rough.
It's rough. So he's asking if he should trade for running back. If so, who? It's a full PPR.
Personally, I think Henderson.
If there's still value in Ridley, and you can get like a Jonathan Taylor.
I would say if you could swing a big name guy for Ridley or Terry McLaurin, one of the two.
Oh, see, I would hold on to Terry. I think he's going to be fine with Heineke. I would move.
I'm looking at.
I'm the biggest Taylor Heineke fan in the world. Are you kidding me? Yes.
I'm just thinking of the top 15 running backs preseason that have really kind of started. So like Jonathan Taylor was good last week, but he only had 10 carries. There was 6.4 yards per carry, and they didn't give him the football. So it's like at a certain point, we know it's happening. We just don't know when. But if you can get that value, like Ridley's down right now, he's still doing fine, but it's not like that top 5-7 receiver that we all expected it to be because we know that Atlanta's going to have to throw the football. So if I can move Ridley, again, you have Tyreek, you have McLaurin, you have Mike Williams. They're all going to be just fine. Like, you're not going to miss Ridley in that instance. I would move him. I would try to get an Antonio Gibson, a Jonathan Taylor, somebody like that has maybe fallen by the wayside a little bit, and some of the other managers are like, all right, I don't mind. I'll make that deal.
Yeah. And Sean says that his league process on the 5th, so it would be Tuesday.
And it's probably because of the Thursday game that it does that. It's probably taking that into effect. You still want the trade. You want the Cooper Kupp side of the trade. Now, here's one thing I'm going to throw out, just because injuries, this, that. I mean, I guess, no, you still want the trade because your guys could easily get hurt too. I would say accept before he sees what Joe Mixon does tomorrow night and can change his mind about it.
I was going to say, because he may be able to decline the trade afterwards. So I think, you make.
Or he's going to DM the commissioner and be like, oh, no, sorry, I didn't mean to accept that.
Yeah,
trade.
So be ready to have a fight after Joe Mixon goes for 2 bills tomorrow night.
So it's accepted. He says accepted. So, Sean, here's what I want you to do. I want you to pray to whatever deity you believe, right? God, Allah, whatever anime god you might watch. Doesn't matter. I don't care. Thor.
The most humble fantasy football god.
Yeah, the most humble fantasy football god, Ryan Weisse. 2024 championship winner. Whatever, Baby Yoda, I don't care. Just pray that Joe Burrow throws the ball 70 times and Joe Mixon touches it 12. Like, that's what you have to pray.
He's still going to have 120 yards on the 12 carries.
Shut up.
You'll be fine.
To the anime gods.
That's what we've chosen. You win on Cup alone.
Yeah, you win on Cup alone.
Helps, so.
But to the anime gods, we pray. Joe Mixon, bust tomorrow, please.
But in all honesty, Kamara, this is weird. Kamara and it was Woods, right? Who was it? Kamara and Woods for Cup is a pretty fair.
It's a pretty straight up deal. So. Yeah, it's pretty straight up. Carter's asking who we should get for Robert Woods. I mean, at this point,
you gotta wait.
If he blows up this week, then trade him. And it's team needs at that point. If you feel you need a better receiver because you drafted Woods as your wide receiver 1, then trade for a wide receiver. But if your running back depth is lacking because maybe Woods was your 3rd guy on your team, go try and trade for a RB2. Because
Just
that's
don't
probably
let a good week this week trick you into keeping him. You have to move him. This
Yep.
week is your reprieve.
Yep, got to get rid of him. And Brandon is asking in a standard, Corey Davis or Jacoby Myers?
Corey Davis to the fucking moon this week.
Tennessee gives up the third most points to wide receivers. You want Corey Davis.
Yeah, I mean, well, I was just gonna say I don't like either of them in a standard, but Corey Davis is a better chance of getting in the end zone. And even despite Jacoby Myers, being a PPR monster, he had 94 yards.
He's
last
not
week.
a bad play.
Yeah. He has 102 career receptions and 0 receiving touchdowns.
Yeah, that's an issue.
Yeah, but he is
not somebody you want in a standard league.
Yeah, but he is a passing touchdown, so it cancels out.
He has 2
exactly.
Actually.
Yeah, 2 passing touchdowns.
There you go. It's almost like 1 receiving touchdown.
He literally has 28% of the amount of touchdowns Cam Newton threw last year. Think about
25%.
that. Think about that.
Got a
No,
quarter.
2. Cam Newton
Corey
threw 7.
Davis.
Cam Newton threw 7.
Cam Newton had 8.
Oh, 25%. My bad. Yeah, Corey Davis. The saving grace that he's playing Tennessee this week, so you hope there's a revenge game, but Corey Davis sucks. God, Carrington. I just brought up random god names. I don't watch anime. The only anime I've watched is Pokemon. Like, if I'm praying to a god, it's Pikachu. Like, let's be honest here. Speaking of anime related, have you guys seen Jamal That? I am not an anime guy.
I don't even know what that is. That's my roommate.
It's all about Jamal Williams. It's interesting stuff. It's worth a watch.
Okay.
Well, all I know is that my buddy is a big anime guy and he loves One Punch Man, I believe. If you can't get the gist of it from the name of the show, he kills people in one punch. If you didn't get that from the show title, if it doesn't ruin the rest of the series for you, there is over 1,000 episodes of that show.
And just under 1,000 punches.
Just under
real
1,000.
quick.
Yeah, that's the storyline.
That's kind of the last of the question, so to speak, before we get into the upsides and downsides real quick. I'm seeing a lot of new names in the chat, and I just want to say thank you.
Yeah.
Love you guys. Appreciate everything. Hit that subscribe button. I have a ton of giveaways in this closet in the top corner up there. I want to give this stuff to you guys. Hit subscribe if you are not public on YouTube, which is fine. Send one of us a DM on Twitter. Show us that you subscribe so I can add you to the wheel. When we hit 250 subscribers, I am giving away another piece of merchandise. I have a signed Mark Andrews jersey. I have a signed DeAndre Swift football. I have signed Calvin Ridley jersey. I have all kinds of crap. So hit subscribe. I want to give it to you guys. So bring it.
We were expecting those guys to be good this year. So sorry that they haven't panned out just yet. And let me just address this comment. Well,
I love it.
my buddy from high school. You know what's funny? Let me read off the text he sent me the other day. Because let me just read off the text.
I love that you're just gonna leave this up. This is awesome.
Yeah. What?
I mean, we can leave that up.
For those listening on the podcast.
Yeah.
The YouTube comment is from Joe's friend Will, and it reads, quote,
Joe,
you're an idiot.
Yeah. Christian, here's your clip for the week. Yeah, he said he asked me a trade question the other day on Monday, and then we talked a little bit. He says, show's been great, by the way. I'm happy you've kept at it. So, 1, appreciate you, Will. 2, go fuck yourself. 3, I hope you're doing well. I think you're in Virginia teaching right now. He got his degree in education. And I believe he's a Latin teacher. He was big into Latin in high school. So, but shout out to Will for calling me an idiot. But at the same time, you guys drank at the exact same time. You poured, and then put the drink both with the right hand. That was weird. We need to end the show now. That was strange. I didn't like it. We need to end the show. Okay.
Oh, man.
Dang, I'm gonna literally need to speed run through these upside down.
I would say let's at least get them out there for the world.
Yeah, I'm gonna get the upside down sides out there. We'll go through. Well,
Just
again,
a quick rundown. Upside means it's someone we think is going to overperform what you would expect from them. Downside doesn't mean we want you to bench them. It just means go in with tempered expectations.
Oh, for the most part, I'm telling you to bench them.
Actually, I think mine are all benches as well.
Yeah, for the most part, I'm telling you to bench them. But Josh, last week you were 1-3. You're 5-7 on the season. You got Joe Burrow as an upside against Jacksonville, David Montgomery against Detroit, MVS against Pittsburgh, and Juwan Johnson against the Giants. He is the tight end in New Orleans for those that may be new to fantasy football. Ryan, you were also 1-3 last week. You're 4-8 on the season. You got Taylor, the mathematician Heineke in Atlanta, Nyheim Hines in Miami, Corey Davis at home against Tennessee, and Conkey Conklin at home against Cleveland. I put up a fat goose egg last week and 6-6 on the season. Kirk Cousins in home against Cleveland, excuse me. I have the other Indy running back, Jonathan Taylor, if he plays, is the caveat. He has a knee injury right now. Emmanuel Sanders, I say against the Buffalo Bills. I'm an idiot. He's against Houston. And I also have Dawson Knox, same game against the Houston Texans. I said earlier in the show I was going to put Donald Parham as my upside tight end.
Knox is my stream of the week. So.
Yeah, that's where we're really throwing darts here. So I don't feel good about my tight end since Ryan put him as a stream of the week. But I think I'll take the one loss on Dawson Knox this week.
Streaming tight ends is hard, very
hard.
Fucking hard.
Downside. Josh, you were 500 last week, 2-2. You're 7-5 on the season. You have Sam Darnold in Dallas, Saquon in New Orleans, who finally figured out where the end zone was after forever. Bryan Edwards in Los Angeles against the Chargers, and Tyler Higbee at home against the Arizona Cardinals. Ryan, you were 1-3 last week, 7-5 as well on the season. You have Derek Carr in Los Angeles on Monday night against the Chargers. Zeke at home against the Carolina Panthers. Same game, opposite side, Robbie Anderson in Dallas, and Dallas Goedert against the Kansas City Chiefs.
Man, you see all those connections?
That just flew so.
Fun fact here about Goddard. I know everybody was high on him. Zach Ertz has actually run more pass routes through 3 weeks.
Yep.
Yeah, that's painful.
And Goddard's only played 9% more snaps.
Yep.
Painful. Myself, I was 3-1 last week. I'm 5-6-1 on the season. For the record, 1 is normally a tie to the point where if someone doesn't play. So that's what the tie is considered. I had Matt Ryan at home against the Washington football team. Clyde Edwards-Helaire and his garbage ass in Philly. Marvin Jones in Cincinnati. I hope I'm wrong about this because I am starting him.
Whoa, bro.
Marvin Jones to the moon, baby.
So here's the reason I put it was because I this is like one of the first ones where I'm like just temper expectations a little bit and don't bench him. Dude, Trevor Lawrence. I know he's targeting him.
Yeah, he's bad.
So much. He looks awful. Like I'm sorry. How does a 109-yard kick return? How does that not light a fire under your ass going into halftime?
When Urban Meyer is your head coach.
Yeah,
dude, he just looks so like that touchdown he threw to DJ Chark. Great pass, great catch. There's zero excitement from this guy. Like Mac Jones shows more excitement.
Yeah, he should have pulled an Eli and been like, "Yeah, I'm not playing in Jacksonville."
Oh my God, it's terrible, atrocious, terrible. And then I have Mark Andrews in Denver.
I will co-sign that pick. So.
I think Justin Simmons is ridiculous. Like he's a top 5 safety. I think he's fantastic. And Denver's defense has looked.
Say
really
AJ Johnson's been
season.
playing really well too. So
yeah,
at linebacker.
Yeah. The combined record of their 3 opponents so far this year has been 0-9. So we'll see if that continues. But.
Oh, yeah. Well, again, we'll see. And Ryan's stream of the weeks. You have a repeat, Sam Darnold in Dallas, noting how is he still 70% available. You have Dawson Knox, as we previously mentioned. For those that missed it, David Njoku was your stream of the week tight end?
No. He was my
he
deep
was your
sleeper
upside
last week. Yeah.
Who was your stream of the week last week?
Whopping 2 points out of God,
big 2 points, as some might say.
Because Hooper was number 9 or had 9 points as my number 2 guy. Hold on, I'm seconds away from having it up here.
You're good. I'll just say your defense this week is Indianapolis in Miami. Go ahead.
I say, and I crushed it on defense last week.
Did you have Arizona?
Cole Kmet with 2 points last week.
Cole Kmet. Dang. I remember when everyone in the fantasy industry said, go get Cole Kmet. And we all said, are you on cocaine?
Yeah, I hit
Like,
on
what are you
Darnold. I'm
doing?
actually 2 consecutive weeks hitting on quarterback. I've hit on both my top defenses in 3 weeks, but the Giants let me down 2 weeks ago. So doing fine in defense, doing better at quarterback, still just absolute trash at tight end. Though surprisingly, in one of the rankings contests I'm in, I'm the number 1 rated ranker of tight ends. So
Get
Love to
out of
see
here.
it. You love to see it. Is everyone else just piss poor? Like,
Well,
do they do
it's
it?
that, but
do they
that's
just
how
throw
bad the
darts?
position is. Like obviously the top 3 are easy, and then it's just hard after that. So
Yeah. Just real quick, I want to put this out here as a disclaimer. Carrington, if you get fired, we don't want to be held liable if you're leaving work early for the show. All right? We don't want to be held
we can't
liable.
supplement your income in fantasy.
Yeah, we can't.
I mean, we could if you're in enough leagues.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we don't supplement ourselves for this show.
No.
So
I married into supplementation.
yeah, Ryan, if there's a marrying up scale, who changed my name to an idiot? Like, I just noticed that. Like, who changed that?
Oh, that's awesome.
I'll leave it. I don't care. Yeah, if there was like levels of marrying up, Ryan hit like the Jerry
I'm
Rice.
tier 1 of
Yeah.
marrying out of my league.
Yeah. If for gamers, he's like S tier.
Yes.
For marrying up. So shout out Marlia, LFG. Captain Marlia.
Appreciate you, boo.
Oh, Captain, my captain. The undoubted captain every week in Ryan's flex
No
spot.
lies.
Undoubted captain. Donovan's like on a week to week basis. We have to really see his.
I only see that kid like once a week. So.
Yeah, we have to really see that matchup. Okay, a couple of these questions here before we wrap up with our Thrive props, which have been going swimmingly, might I add.
Yeah.
From Brandon. Let me be more broad. He needs 1 receiver, 1 running back, and a flex. He has Jacoby, Zach Moss, James Robinson, B. Cooks, and dang, I can't remember that dude's name because he's completely irrelevant now. Elijah Mitchell. Was this a standard?
Going back to his,
No, he said this is PPR. I'm guessing this is a different league because I was like, this should have been the league he had Corey Davis, but I'm guessing this is a second league. So
Yep. I mean, if you need a receiver, I would probably go Myers this week.
Oh, I would take Cooks.
yeah,
Yeah. At this point, I feel like he's quarterback proof and he's matchup proof until further notice.
Yep.
Okay,
And James
that's fine.
Robinson's you're playing
Running
James
back.
Robinson again.
Fair,
so.
to be fair, I do like Zach Moss a lot this week, but
I
I'm
like Moss
definitely
too.
rolling. Yeah, I'm rolling with Robinson over Moss.
Well, you need a flex, so you're starting Zach.
there you
Moss
go.
in the
So
flex.
start him over Mitchell and Myers. There you go.
There you go.
There you go.
Okay. Yeah, you can drop Elijah Mitchell now, so you can kiss whatever.
I
flag
wouldn't
is
go
there.
that far
No.
only because Trey Sermon did not light the world on fire last week.
And they're saying November for my guy
Jeff Wilson.
Jeff Wilson.
All right. Yeah. Hey, teach their own.
Depth
You could
is still crucial at the running back position. So
No, that's fair. Elijah Mitchell is still garbage, so that's just wanted to get that across the board here.
Barely been a pro.
we can't have a show in 2021 without Joe saying Elijah Mitchell's garbage.
Yeah.
Garbage. Yeah. Elijah Mitchell is this year's Cam Newton. No, I take that back. Sorry. He's this year's Dearness Johnson. Because you idiots.
But we knew Dearness Johnson wasn't good. Mitchell has not played. He looked good in the time he did play. And San Francisco running backs historically are a fantasy asset. Don't listen to Joe. Hold on to Elijah Mitchell at least until November. When
It's
Jeff Wilson
already
comes
been
back.
said a few times this show. Joe is an idiot. Let's go.
Yeah. And I'm not even gonna I like Joe's takes. This Elijah Mitchell slander is
I'm just feeding off of the user comments.
know.
All right?
I'm not.
Let's just-
So every week someone asks me an Elijah Mitchell question. I'm going to keep bringing it up. And at the end of the year, when he barely finishes as a top 40 running back, then we can all rejoice in song and
There we
praise
go.
me.
So,
for that.
okay, when you say top 40 running back, are we going points per game? Because we all know he's already missed games. Or overall? There is a difference.
Overall.
at running back. You
Overall.
have to go overall.
Overall. Yeah. I would go over.
Carter, I just want to throw out there, that's the trap because that's what everyone's going to think. If you watched a lot of those plays, they are straight up when they're running these wonderful gadget plays for Cooper Kupp. that were run for Robert Woods a year ago. Robert Woods is the lead blocker.
He was the guy that was running all of these for the last 3-4 years.
No, that's what I'm saying. 1 year ago, all of these plays were designed for Woods, and they're doing all the fun stuff for Cook now. I'm not saying Woods isn't going to have a game here or there. Stafford has latched on to Cooper Kupp. Yes. That's all it comes down to. And there's the whole thing. It's anecdotal and it's ridiculous. They're having breakfast together. They're doing this, that, and the other. They're best friends. We saw it with Brady and Gronk. We're now seeing it with Stafford and Kupp. So
yeah. And character, I just want to address this. I draft 3 running backs almost exclusively in the first.
Yeah, Joe knows. Yeah. He just hates Elijah Mitchell for
I just don't weird reason. Elijah Mitchell is.
I feel like he's feeding off of the constant badgering of the Giants overdrafting Saquon.
Me?
No. Just in general. Oh. And I'm not saying in fantasy terms, just in actual real life football.
Oh, I mean, yeah, Saquon is not.
Oh, you're saying Carrington's joke. I was so confused. I thought you were going after Joe again. Yes, I think that's, yeah.
Oh,
yeah. I mean running backs matter. They don't matter at the number 2 overall pick.
Nope.
Yeah. They
also in a actual NFL draft, not a fantasy draft. They matter at number 2 overall.
I mean, I think we're to the point, and it seems teams are never going to learn. Running backs should not be first-round picks anymore. There are better places to spend that money in capital. So
I've been pretty open about saying that the only time I would take a running back in an actual NFL draft is if I had like pick 28, 29, 30, 31, 32. And it's literally only to secure that 5th year.
It's option. Almost where the mediocre quarterbacks used to go, where people are now trading up to get the top running back. So,
yep. All right, quickly on our Thrive props here before we wrap up. Josh is a clean sweep at 3-0. Ryan and I are both 2-1. Josh, tomorrow night you have Joe Mixon over 91.5 rushing and receiving yards. It is crazy to me that this is actually not favored.
Yeah.
To hit the over.
I was shocked.
There was another prop, and I can't remember which one it was, but it was like 125 on the over. And I was like, damn, I'm this close to swinging big with my pick this week. But I was like, we try to go safe with these to give you that good foothold. So I'll stick with the Mixon one.
Ryan's got Marvin Jones over 63.5 receiving yards. And I have J-Rob over 55.5 rushing yards. We're taking the over on everyone this week. We're rooting for points, baby. That's all we want to see. All right. Quickly, our buddy Dave.
What's up, Dave?
What's up, man? Our local Australian. What's your confidence level in Damien Harris as an RB2, deciding between him and Zach Moss? If it's this week, it's Zach Moss.
I was going to say, if it's this week, it's Moss. But overall, give me Harris. I don't understand. Everybody's looking to move Harris. Like, it's weird to me. James White's out for the year, man.
Yeah, I mean,
that's going to be very interesting to see if they actually work Harris into the passing game or if they just completely hand it off to JJ Taylor.
Yep.
I'd also like to give a big shout out to Dave, who is 0-3 in our Egon Spengler division for the 4-Eyed Championship.
Damn! Look, I can't even knock him because I'm 0-3 in mine too. So
I'm 3-0 with the most points scored.
Curtains.
Working out.
I've gotten murdered with injuries in this league.
I am rough. I am 1-2, and I faced like the second highest scoring team this past week. I put up 207 points. But also, hold on. I put up 207, only lost by 10 points. I played against Myles Garrett.
Oh.
Yeah.
That had to be, 60 points in the scoring?
He had, it was ridiculous. And I put Sterling Shepard in my super flex spot.
Yeah.
Who got injured.
Started Sterling Shepard and James White in many leagues this week and took some mad L's because of it. So
yeah, I survived Sterling Shepard in one league. Because my guys popped off. But in that league, I literally lost by 10 points and I had Shepard in my lineup.
Let me tell you a frustration I have. Stupidest rule I've ever dealt with in fantasy football. Had somebody accept a trade after I had checked my lineups at like 12:30. So I traded away 2 active players. I went in and I had one player I didn't notice until after the 4:00 games had kicked off. So I had one active player going on Monday night. I don't even remember who it was now. I could only start 9 when we have to start 10. It wouldn't let me put the 9th guy in my lineup because I couldn't start a legal lineup. I was like, come on. And I lost the game by like 3 points. So with
Yeah.
8 people. Yeah.
Tough. You hate to see it. Dang. Be a better manager next time. I think
I didn't. I'll be honest. I should have known whether or not trades could go through right away because I didn't expect that trade to go through.
Yeah. No, that's
sorry.
fine.
I have 16 teams to check. If something happens after 12:30, I'm pretty well fucked at that point. So
Yeah. I got 8, and I hate that I have 8 teams. I'd like to keep it around 5 nowadays.
16. I'm starting to feel a little bit of a crunch at 16. My biggest mistake, other than that one so far this year, was I started a Thursday guy in the flex. So I'll take that.
Oh, I know what my big swing on Thrive was. It was Jamar Chase over 6.5 receptions this week.
Yeah.
Ooh. Higgins is
He
out
hasn't
again.
he hasn't done 7 receptions yet.
Yeah.
But T. Higgins has already been ruled out this
And
week.
they have no corners in Jacksonville because they
And have
CJ
corners.
Henderson.
Exactly. So I
Miles
was
Jack's
like, you
gonna
know
be
what?
up there.
I'm swinging big. So yeah.
I love it. All right. Tomorrow night, 6 p.m. Eastern, week 4 DFS and Chill with Ryan and Kira. This week's guest is one of the newest writers to the Club Fantasy fam, Oklahoma Doug. He's the author of Oh Captain, My Captain. Also, lineup question starts at different day, 11 a.m. Eastern. Josh won't be with us, so we have a double dip of guests filling in from Drinking and Talking Fantasy. Jake Trowbridge and Dustin Lunt will be joining the show.
Yes.
If you've seen our show, obviously you know who Jake is. Dustin will be a first-time guest with us, so
yeah,
should be a lot of fun.
I am so
and I'm a little
excited.
jealous that I'm not going to be here for it.
I am so excited to kick Jake out of the room for just 3 seconds to make him think his Wi-Fi shit the bed again. I am so excited.
If there is anyone watching this show that is not following at Jake Trowbridge,
Yeah,
do
you need
yourself
to.
the largest favor because it's gold. He is a fantasy football treasure.
Yep, you need to. And also tonight, is this correct, Josh? Can I read this off tonight? This is happening?
Yes.
Great, fantastic. Don't change it on me
I
mid
forgot all about that.
No, I'm making sure because I saw Jorge tweet it out
He
earlier
tweeted it out.
that they were going to be on, and they're currently on right now. So
All right, Jorge is on right now, 4th in Frames. Friends over Fantasy Frames are on right now, 9:30. Vipercast drops from Dynasty Vipers. You go check those guys out. And that's it. Let's go into week 4. You can follow Club Fantasy on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at Club Fantasy FFL. The URL is clubfantasyffl.com. For Josh, Ryan, and the idiot, always remember defense wins championships, offense wins fantasy football. We will see you tomorrow night for DFS and Chills, Saturday for Start Sit Different Day, and next week for, no pun intended, week 5. Bye-bye.